Hello, my name is Milan and I'm back to talk about bending plywood. So, what is this process? Bending plywood is an age-old technique of taking sheets of plywood and effectively using a steaming or soaking process to make them soft enough to bend into a desired shape. A wide range of objects are made using this technique, from furniture to artworks and many more. This here image is a piece of plywood that is being bent, although this piece of plywood doesn't require steam, as there's plywood that is manufactured using a kind of plastic composite which allows it to bend much easier, but that's different. Now, the wood bending process often involves using steam or warm water to first soften the wood so that it can be bent to a desired shape. It is much more successful when the grain of plywood is packed close together, as this ensures that the plywood doesn't crack or splinter due to the enormous stress placed on it through bending. In this image here you can see someone is just bending a piece of plywood with an iron underneath this towel to ensure even heating, and this is an image of a steam box. A long piece of narrow wood is being placed through it and it's being steamed for an hour or so, and then it's taken out and it's bent, and this ensures that the wood doesn't crack because it's a lot softer when it's been soaked or steamed. In a home workshop environment, warm damp towels can be placed on the intended bend point before attempting to warp the plywood. Factory environments or workshops often use large steam boxes in order to speed up the preparation process. However, this may not always be the best way, as the steam box must be large enough to accommodate the piece of wood that is to be bent. Here is an image of a mould that is used in a professional setting. This is most likely for a chair or piece of furniture. And here is a finished product, a piece of plywood that has been bent using a guitar shape mould. Anyway, in order to bend the wood to the desired shape, a mould is often used to ensure accuracy. If one does not have a mould, then a bar or edge may be used depending on the situation. In order to further research this process, I went to visit a local woodworking shop in the Brunswick area, made by Morgan Furniture and Design. I had spoken to one of the employees there. Coincidentally, he himself was an industrial design teacher at Monash University. He showed me a mould that they had used to bend a piece of wood during the making of the product, on the top right. He also allowed me to photograph one of the products they had finished. Although it was not plywood, the backrest and the handles were bent using steam bending, on the top left. On the bottom left is an image of a product which incorporates 3 different pieces of wood sandwiched together. The employee who made this part informed me that the piece of wood in the middle of the composite sandwich was indeed plywood and was bent using the steam bending process. This demonstrates that not only can you bend plywood, but also any other kind of wood as well. This long video demonstrates part of the process of steam bending, but I'll skip through parts so we don't take up too much time. So here he's made a mould for bending the piece of plywood, so that he's going to curve the piece of wood around it. Here he's made his own steam box using some pieces of wood, just there in his little workshop environment. Now he's planning to bend this piece of wood around this curved right angle mould that he's made here. So he's been soaking it for 30 to 45 minutes, as he said, and he's going to see what happens now when he takes that piece of wood and bends it around. But you'll see that it splinters because he didn't soak it long enough, so now he has to start over. He uses this long flat piece of cord material tape, to ensure an even amount of pressure is being applied to the piece of wood when it's being bent. And he's using multiple clamps in order to keep the piece of wood in place while it's bending. That's just an example of how it can be done in a workshop. Now for pricing. Basic steam bending will only set you back the price of the materials which you source, and the price to create the mould you use, although professional woodworkers and artisans will know how to make these themselves. A steam bending kit can cost about $90. This here is called the Rockler Bending Bedwood Carryall Portable Steam Bending machine. It costs about $80 on Amazon, and it's quite cheap for something that you can do at home. So the advantages of this process is it's a cheap process, it's simple enough for anyone can do it at home, and the disadvantage is it's limited to the quality of the grain of plywood, and it's limited to the size of the steam box you use. So depending on the type of wood that you use, that you want to bend the plywood, whatever it's made of, that's going to cost you more depending on the quality and the grain. So here are some images of some products I've made using the steam bending process. This is all plywood stuff. So this is a plywood chair. And this is another one here which is quite intricate. And another one here with this long, narrow, thin piece of wood that's most likely been bent in one of those steam boxes you saw earlier. And here are some instruments made using this process. And these are probably the two of the most widely used applications, for steam bending. Thank you.